Another video for you with new stories, mainly from Ethiopia. First new story is about WHO head Dr. Tedros, whose term expired this year, and new DG of World Health Organization was due to be elected, and today new DG has been elected. WHO chief has been elected. Dr. Tedros was the only candidate. No other candidate was there to challenge him. Second news story is from Afar-Somali border, where once again clashes are being reported. Casualties on both sides are being reported. Third news story is about a political party based in the Amhara region of Ethiopia. National Movement of Amhara's Nama party, led by Belate Mola. Serious splits are being seen in the party. Party's general election was rejected by Ethiopian election board a few days ago, and election board told the party to hold party election again because some party members lodged a complaint against the previous party election held a few days ago. Now, a few hours ago, a party issued a statement about ongoing operation in the Amhara region of Ethiopia. And against this statement, one top leader of this party has resigned from Central Committee, and two other leaders have distanced himself from the statement. What did the party say in the statement about the operation in Amhara region? And lastly, viewers, we have shared several videos of protests in Oromia region, where we saw government-backed protests against Oromo Liberation Army. They call it Shane. Now we have a video clip for you of a protest which was held in support of Oromo Liberation Army in a zone of Oromia. It's not easy to protest in support of OLA these days when a massive campaign, a large-scale military operation against OLA is underway. We have a video clip for you as well. First news story is about WHO DG Dr. Tedros, who is a Tigrayan. He has been re-elected as the head of World Health Organization. So for another 5-year term, Dr. Tedros will lead WHO. Assembly of WHO was held in Geneva today, where it was announced that Dr. Tedros has been re-elected. The start of this year, member states, all UN members are members of WHO as well. All member states, they were directed to submit their proposals regarding next DG of WHO. But no candidate was launched by any member state. Dr. Tedros was the only candidate, and now his re-election has been confirmed. Ethiopian government, Eritrean government, both have been trying to stop the re-election of Dr. Tedros. We saw a letter from Ethiopian government a few months ago. Ethiopian government lodged a complaint with the executive board of WHO against Dr. Tedros. Ethiopian government back then said that Dr. Tedros was interfering in Ethiopian and Eritrean internal matters. That is why executive board should proceed against Dr. Tedros, but nothing happened. Eritrean government has also been speaking against Dr. Tedros, accusing him of using WHO's platform to interfere in internal matters of the countries, and Eritrean government has been accusing WHO's head Dr. Tedros of backing TPLF, Tigray People Action Fund. Dr. Tedros worked as a minister in EPRDF government when TPLF-led EPRDF alliance was in power, which remained in power for more than 2 decades. Dr. Tedros worked as a foreign minister of Ethiopia and minister of health during EPRDF era. That is why Ethiopian government, Eritrean government, they have been accusing Dr. Tedros of backing TPLF. But he has been elected once again. And while Tigrayans are celebrating Dr. Tedros' re-election, Ethiopian national news agency shared an article. The title of this article is Dr. Tedros Disgrace to WHO. So you see that Ethiopian government is obviously not happy with re-election of Dr. Tedros, but Tigray government, people of Tigray, Tigrayans, they are celebrating the re-election of Dr. Tedros. Watch this video showing the re-election of Dr. Tedros in Geneva. Second news story is from Afar-Somali region border. Two regions have been involved in border clashes for months, if not years. Since I started covering Ethiopia, I have seen clashes in border areas of Somali region and Afar several times. And even during the course of Tigray conflict, when Tigray forces were in Afar region, even back then the clashes continued. But there was hope that border issues will be resolved, because a few days ago Afar president traveled to Somali region. He donated 10 million Ethiopian birds for drought hit areas in Somali region. And then we heard some announcements that the two regions had agreed to resolve their border disputes, and from 3 places it was agreed that regional forces, militias will withdraw and ENDF will take over the 3 contested territories, contested Kabyles. The 3 areas were Gadamedu, Ondofo and Gerbese. But a few hours ago, fresh clashes erupted between Afar and Somali region militias. The clashes are being reported in Siti zone of Somali region, which shares border with Afar. Somali regional officials, they claim that Afar forces are involved in attacks on Somali regional civilians, not forces. And casualties on both sides are being reported. At least 10 casualties on both sides are being reported. The issue of border demarcation between Afar and Somali regions has not been resolved so far. Watch this small video clip from the area where clashes are being reported on Afar-Somali region border.
waa degmada cundufo waxaan maanta dagaal ka socdaa qabalaha xadhkaal oo dadkii xoolo dhaqatada ku soo weerareen ciidamadii canfarta dagaalkaas oo dagaal aad u ballaaran oo dhimasho dhaawac jiro iminka ayaan ku soconaa wixii ka soo kordhana waxa ma garanaysaa kala socodintiin Sima TV la socod wanaagsan baan leenahay.
Third news story is from the Amhara region of Ethiopia, where we know that a military campaign is underway against Amhara Fano militia. People are resisting, but they're not openly resisting, but they are against this operation in which Fano supporters, the Fano fighters, their commanders are being detained by government forces. We saw a statement from US Embassy in Ethiopia today about mass arrests in Ethiopia, and the mass arrests are happening in the Amhara region. A political party, opposition party, but part of the government, today released a statement about this operation. But after this statement, 3 top leaders distanced themselves from the statement. Name of the party is NAMA, National Movement of Amharas. Party is led by Belate Mola, who was re-elected as party head a few weeks ago, but his re-election was challenged at Ethiopian National Election Board. National Election Board of Ethiopia rejected the re-election of Belate Mola, and now party will hold another General Assembly for re-election of the President and other Central Committee members. So there are serious splits in the party. The party issued a statement. The statement, though it criticized law enforcement operation, a military campaign against Fano in the Amhara region, at the same time, it indirectly backed this operation as well. The party says that operation should be conducted in a legal way, and those groups in the Amhara region which are illegal, they must be eliminated. The party mentioned the name of a news outlet that it was working in collaboration with Vojene. Ethio 360, that Ethio 360 digital Vojene, TPLF supporters, Tigray supporters, and Tigray government, they are working in collaboration to destabilize the Amhara region. That is what this party said. Immediately after that, we saw some statements. 3 party leaders spoke. One has resigned from party's executive committee. His name is Dasalin Chane. He is a member of parliament of National Movement of Amhara's NAMA. Very popular member of parliament, because I remember in last year's general election held in Amhara region, he was one of those MPs in Amhara region who got the most votes in that election in the Amhara region of Ethiopia last year. He has resigned from party's executive committee. He is still a member of the party. He did not resign from the party, resigning from central committee because of this statement. Because Dasalin Chane 2 days ago said that the operation was not law enforcement operation. It was operation against the people of Amhara region. Party saying that operation should continue in a legal way. Secondly, Christian Tedale, who has been speaking against the party in the past few days, he has also distanced himself from the statement. Thirdly, Yusuf Ibrahim, who also spoke, he says he has nothing to do with this statement. So, serious splits in this party. Belate Mola seems to be alone. I think it is going to be difficult for Belate Mola to be re-elected as this party's head. Last viewers, Oromo Liberation Army in Oromia region. New story about this armed group. We have seen several protests, government-backed protests against OLA since the start of military operation against OLA more than a month ago. We saw protests in West Shiva, we saw protests in North Shiva, but the protests were backed by government officials. They organized, they took part in the demonstrations. Now we have a video clip for you of protests in support of Oromo Liberation Army. It's not easy these days to hold a protest rally in support of OLA, because we know that OLA supporters are being arrested, they're being detained. This protest is from Harage zone of Oromia. Where in Harage was this protest held, we don't know, but it's a main road, it seems, and protesters are trying to hide their identity. They're hiding their faces. They don't want to show who they are because they could face consequences, they could be arrested, detained. That is why they are hiding their faces, but you can see that along a main road they are walking and chanting slogans in support of Oromo Liberation Army, carrying OLA flags as well. Watch this video of a protest in support of OLA. Thank you for watching.
Oromo ke bike beye zarra bukon. Adapat. Oromon. Abbabiyat. Oromon. Abbanagiyat. Oromon. Abbajalalat. Oromon. Abbatakummat. Oromon. Abbabiyat. Oromiyan. Biyagotat. Oromiyan. Biyagotat. Oromiyan. Labe gototatin. Ijaramte. Oromiyan. Lubbu ummata bibbitin.